Hello my small fat adapted family and welcome back to the Great Keto Bake Off. For anyone that's new to this series, this is how it goes. I watch the Great British Bake Off live at 8 PM. I go away and I pick one recipe from the entire show and I stay up late writing a keto version of it. I then get up, I go and get ingredients, and here I am. So I'm trusting my ability to ketofy high carb recipes in a very short period of time. And there is a potential that it'll go wrong, like it does on the show. But if it does, you get to see all of it on camera. So, week 2 of the Great British Bake Off was Biscuit Week. The signature was brandy snaps with a custom filling. The technical was sandwich jam biscuits, aka UK Jammy Dodgers. And the showstopper was interactive 3D biscuit art based on childhood toys. So when it came to my choice, let's get the obvious one out of the way first. I am not going to be doing brandy snaps, mainly because I don't have the knowledge on how to create that laced texture using sweetener rather than sugar. The sandwich jam biscuits were so tempting, but see, I want to redeem myself from last week, and I said I was willing to try a showstopper this season. Especially as Bake Off is the only sort of time that I really push myself out of my keto comfort zone, and I feel like Jammy Dodgers, sandwich jam biscuits, is something that I can do in my own time with no risks. So, for week 2 of the Great British Bake Off, I will be ketofying George's Biscuit Toy Airplane. The biscuit being used will be my slight tweak on flourless peanut butter cookies. Then they will be stuck together with ready tempered isomalt, as well as using sugar-free butter candy for the wheels. When I first heard what the showstopper was, I immediately thought of those charming little wooden biplanes. They feel like a toy that is timeless, being played with by kids from all over the world, right back from when the Wright brothers created Power Flight. So George's toy aeroplane was kind of a no-brainer for me. Except he created a very simple little box design for his plane. I instead have used a typical wooden biplane as my inspiration, going so far as to design a simple version of this toy biplane, which is already pretty simple itself, that I then created card templates to cut out the biscuit design. And the reason for this specific recipe, rather than using gingerbread, which most of them did in Bake Off, is because this recipe, when cooled, is the hardest, crunchiest keto cookie I have ever baked, and it has never let me down. I think it will work fantastically structurally. I have some big boots to fill, not only because of last week's error that you lovely folk kind of explained to me why it went wrong, but also because the last time I did this Keto Bake Off series, week 2, Biscuit Week, was the best creation I have ever made of all time. And that is my cherry caramel biscuit bars. So there's no pressure. So the ingredients for one cookie plane are 250 grams of peanut butter. It's your choice whether you want it crunchy or smooth. I have gone with smooth just because I don't want the worry of bits of nuts kind of ruining my design. And always check the carbs as well. I've gone with whole earth because it's quite natural. Per 100 grams it's about 9 carbs. It's pretty low carb for peanut butter. There are lower carb ones, but again, they tend to be crunchy and I wanted smooth. 1/3 of a cup of sweetener I am using as usual, erythritol. 1 large egg. 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract, 1 teaspoon of baking powder, 4 sugar-free hard candies, I am using sugar-free Werther's butter candy, and about 150 grams of ready tempered isomalt. Isomalt being a sweetener that is actually used quite a lot in cake decoration, whether you're high carb or keto. It is also worth noting that I am making a double batch today. I will be doing one batch off of camera though, and the reason for this is not to make 2 planes, but I would like some parts for spares and repairs should I need them. Let's cook our biscuits. The first thing that you want to do is put your oven on 190 Celsius, which is 375 Fahrenheit. Then you want to prepare a baking sheet by lining it with parchment paper, which I have behind me. And this peanut butter cookie recipe is just so ridiculously simple. So we're going to add our sweetener and our eggs in my case, to our peanut butter. To make this a little bit easier, I basically just pop the peanut butter in the microwave for about 20 seconds just to soften it a little bit. I don't want it melted, just a little bit softer so that we can really work those eggs in. I'm going to add my sweetener, and then I'm going to add, I'm using 2 eggs. You'll be using 1 if you just want the 1 batch. And then this is going to get mixed until it's all nice and well combined. You're going to want to put quite a bit of elbow grease into this because peanut butter can be quite difficult to work with. And you want to make sure that egg is really mixed in. As it starts to combine, you'll notice it will go like a real tough cookie dough. It's quite difficult to mix, but you just want to keep going on until all of it is that sort of real thick cookie dough batter. Then what we're going to do is we're going to add our vanilla extract and our baking powder. And now I've taken off my ring. I'm just going to use my hands because it's getting real tough and starting to hurt my wrist. And I can also see there's a little bit of egg that didn't mix. Usually it's not as difficult as I'm making it look, but because I have a double batch in here, I'm having to put in double the effort. Okay, and that will leave you with a nice, smooth, well combined dough. Once you're happy that it's well combined, you're going to get it on a piece of parchment paper, pop some parchment paper over the top of it, and we're going to roll it until it is about 1/4 of an inch thick. You don't want it very thick at all. What I've done really quickly is put a dishcloth underneath the parchment paper. This just helps with it slipping and sliding around on my nice clean surface. Okay, I'd say that's probably about 1/4 of an inch thick. I've grabbed my prepared baking sheet because I want to be able to transfer these quick and easily without sort of them falling apart in my hands. So I have my templates and I'm going to just place them on the biscuit, cut around, and then pop them on my sheet. So if I gently pull that up like that, haha. This should be sort of enough to pick up most of it. Yeah. Oh, we've had a little bit of a split. That's fine, I can fix that. I'd rather have a split now than a split later. And I did think about making it so that this sheet that I'm cutting right now was just the sheet that it baked on. So I didn't have to sort of faff around trying to move it. And then I kind of realised I can't really do that because I have quite a bit to cut that I'd need to pull apart from each other anyway, just to give them a little bit of space on the baking sheet. What a horrible shape to work with. Whose idea was this? How do you grab a shape that looks like this? Because if I try and... How did I do that one? Maybe turn it out onto this. I'm willing to re-roll that dough right now. I don't care. My priority is getting this plain piece off. I mean, that's still technically on... Now it's just on a different sheet. I figured a way to solve it. Cut that sheet out. I'm just putting it. Now our baking sheet is missing. So let me get rid of this greasy paper. What is going on? So I've got my base aeroplane shapes, and I will pop this in the oven for 10 to 12 minutes. Get it out, leave them to cool for 10 minutes in the pan, then just take the greaseproof out and leave them on the side to completely cool. Meanwhile, I'm going to also make maybe like a body replacement just in case, and maybe a wing out of what I have here. So the body of this plane is incredibly bizarre and delicate. I need to figure out how I'm going to stick it. I basically need to put it like that, cover this in isomalt, and then put it down exactly in the correct position. I think that's really the only way to go about it, and we're just gonna have a go. We're just gonna have a go. That's the first step we're going to do, is we're going to attach the body to the body so that we've got a nice thick double body. So I thought if I start pouring and kind of just coat it in isomalt, I don't care if it trickles off the sides. I want this thing stuck. And then this needs to be positioned exactly. The reason that I'm doubling up the body is just to give it some more structure, some more security. So you don't need very much for this bit. You're basically going to take a Werther's, be very, very careful, and dip the flat base into the isomalt, and then stick it to your wheel supports on each side. You do need to work quite quickly because isomalt does seem to solidify very, very quickly. So now we're going to take the back of the propeller, and I'm going to just use a knife for this because I really don't want to touch this. And we're going to put a nice healthy dose of isomalt on the back of it. And then we're going to quickly attach it to our little circle and just hold that until it feels like it's sturdy. Then we take our little dinky nubbin piece and very gently, ow, 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 that is very hot. And put that in the middle. Okay, we're nearly there, we're nearly there. I'm going to dip the edge of one of my wing supports in the isomalt and put it at about the curve in the middle, oh lord, on one of the biplane wings. I'm going to do the same with the other one. I'm just going to hold them until they feel like they're standing up on their own. That one feels like it is. This is actually working. I don't like the fact this is actually working. Then what I want to do is take my tail, and this is going to get, just be careful with this, this is going to get stuck there. Hot, 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 hot. Okay. Out. Oh my god, I'm so scared. Because the next step is that needs to be flipped. Let's just have a quick cookie break. Right, let's get this isomalt melted. And it gets a... Oh, please be careful of your fingers. Oh, okay, that can stand up on its own. That makes my life so much easier. And right in the middle, it gets a coating of isomalt. I'm hoping that's the middle. Because then we'll take that. What just broke? What just broke? Oh, we have spares for this exact reason. I'm so glad I had enough to do extras, because I would not be a happy bunny right now if I didn't. Ow! This stuff is insane how hot it gets in 30 seconds. That then gets held there like that. It's working, it's working, we're getting there, 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 we're getting there. Oh, for... So I stepped away for a little bit to try and sort of evaluate what was going wrong. And I think really the crux was that the weight of these on each side of the wing, when I pressed down on it even gently, it was breaking the wing in half because that was the, you know, part of least resistance. And I'm still going to continue, but there's been an ever so slight change. So I've got here one of my wheel supports, and it's on a little bit of the broken wing, and I thought if I then attach that, then I might have just a little bit more success with it not snapping in half, being attached to the plane itself. So I need to reheat up my isomalt. I have honestly seen enough isomalt for a lifetime. This stuff is horrible. I don't want to ever work with this stuff again. The next step will be, this is where I want the glove back on, again to pour down the middle, and then, okay, so I've put way too much glue on, way too much glue. Yeah, I think that's solid. Oh! So I'm going to remelt the isomalt because it has gone pretty much solid immediately again. And then I will get, I think, the propeller on next and finish with the top wing. We're getting somewhere. We're getting somewhere now. Come on. I know you haven't got much surface area, but I am begging. Oh. I've only gone and created a completely edible, keto-friendly biscuit aeroplane. I mean, it could do with being a little bit neater, less crumbly, less isomalt trickling down it, but how many keto creators do you know that have made a 3D aeroplane out of keto-friendly ingredients? Oh, and before I forget, you may be asking where the interactive element of it is, because that was part of the challenge. Really, really simple on this one. Let me just carefully get it, and I'll show you. Now, in terms of macronutrients, this entire biscuit aeroplane comes out to 888 calories, 72 grams of fat, 36 grams of protein, and 12 grams of net carbs. Thank you again for joining me in this incredibly chaotic series. Join me next week for probably the most difficult week to ketofy, and that is bread week. But with that being said, that is all for this video. Leave a like if you found it interesting, insightful, or helpful. Subscribe for more keto content. Any questions, any comments, any queries, anything down below. Keep calm, keto on. Thanks for watching.